Hey everyone, greetings for the day. This is Divya and you are watching Trend Brain. In today's segment, we're going to discuss about the best learning activities for a 3-year-old. One of the parents came to my office and was asking, should we do some activities at home? What do you think so? Definitely yes, right? Yes. So daily activities for children are very important part of our parenting and our teaching life skills. As parents and teachers, we need to know and we need to tell that we need to get involved with our children's growth and development. And we keep telling this many number of times, and definitely, yes, we have to get involved. Now, what are the basic essentials? Now, before we get started with that, so I want you all to take a paper and pen and note down these important simple points. I know it's going to be something that we're going to be noting it down, but at the same time, it's very essential as well, right? So, to make sure that we involve in our children's growth and development, we need to helping them whenever they are 3 years old or 2 to 3 years of old in their phase of learning new skills. Now, what are those skills and what are the areas that we're going to be helping them? The first important area that we help our children or we get involved into is on helping them develop their motor skill. Agree? Yes, it could be both fine motor as well as the gross motor skills. So we're going to be helping them on the motor skills. The second thing is on the coordination. You need to coordinate very well with your child as well. The third thing is related to communication skills. We need to help them to understand what we talk. We help them on making the words, the vocabulary enrichment, and so on. So these are very essential. Now, to add on to it, we need to also have something very special. Okay, and that is considered to be your child's social skill. So this is very, very important. Now, to involve and to get all these amazing skills, what should you do? You need to spend good time with your child. So time is a factor. The more that you indulge, the more that you involve in giving or helping your child in these activities or in helping them develop these skills, that is where your child would also work on their interest and they would also develop their cognitive ability. Now, what should we do for that? What should we do for that? Are there any right activities or is it very easy? How do you figure it out? Okay, so activities for a 3-year-old one, is it easy? Many of them, they say it's very easy. It's just a toddler class that I have to manage. So I'm talking in terms of both for the toddler teachers as well as for the parents who have toddlers. Like, okay, so it is not that easy. The job sounds it might sound very easy. The job might be very easy, but handling or managing a class of a 3-year-old isn't that easy. Or figuring it out, what could be the activity to be given for a 3-year-old is also not easy, right? So what we need to do over here is like, we need to pay close attention to activities what your child might like. And at the same time, you need to also keep in mind what activities your child doesn't like. Okay. So their likes, their dislikes is the first thing that you have to work on it. Once you keep that, there should be a little easier way for you to actually work on. The second thing is like these activities should also be related to educational. Somewhere down the line, you will also keep it educational so that, not only the fun loving activities that you're going to be working, but at the same time, you'll also keep it a little educative. But make sure the learning is much more creative. And at the same time, you're also engaging your child. Now, what could be there? So what should I do for that? So now we understood that we need to have a daily activity. We need to be working on those particular skills. And we need to also make sure whether the child is liking that activity or not liking that activity. Correct? Now, this is not enough. Right? This is not enough. Now you need to work around certain developmental parameters. Now for a holistic development. Now for a holistic development, or I could say for an overall development, what are the different things that you're going to be working? Now, just make sure and remember you're working with a 3-year-old, right? So you should not forget. And what could be the best games for the 3-year-old one, or what could be the activities that we're going to be working? And at the same time, they have to be fun, they have to be creative. At the same time, they should also be educationally good enough, right? So now let's list it down. If you have a piece of paper or a notebook, you can list down the certain exercises or activities that we do it with a 3-year-old child. Now, most of you all have some toys at home, or your child is playing a lot with toys, right? Or most of the girl children, they might have dolls. It depends on their preferences. Okay, so they either can play with toys and trucks or dolls or whatever that they actually have it, they have it. Now we need to make sure this is one of their favorite. So pick any of the child's favorite pastime, and you can also play. You also start playing with that. Maybe like if your daughter likes doll, you also start playing with your daughter, maybe like dressing up that doll, right? So what happens is, like, when you're involving with your child, doing the same activity what your child is liking, what are we creating? Lot of excitement, isn't it? We create a lot of excitement for a child. The child is also very excited. So this is something which is really nice. So we do this as a first thing. So pick it up. Second thing could be on doodling. Okay, so you take a piece of paper, you give a sketch pen or a marker, and ask the child to just scribble or doodle. It's going to be fun, right? So we're going to make this every day, not on one day. So this has to be there. Now, doodling is also related to your motor skill. Now, what motor? Is it a fine motor or a gross motor? Since it is related to our hand muscles and other things, we consider that to be as a fine motor development. Correct? So that is also helping our child to develop on the fine motor. And they would also learn how to hold a marker. They will learn how to hold a pencil. They will learn how to hold a sketch pen. And that's scribbling. Now, if you're a teacher, you also work on other parameters. Like, what is the pressure? Is the child holding? What is the grip? Right? So you go very much detail into it. Now, each day, just imagine, each day if you're giving the scribbling exercise to your child, indirectly, what is that you're trying to make for your child? Your child's hand muscles are getting stronger and stronger, right? And each time a parent is also getting involved doodling, what happens? Your bonding with the child is becoming more better. Each one is encouraging, and there could be a competition internally whether the parent is doing better or the child is doing better. It might sound messy, but this is an amazing activity that you have to work with your children, okay? And your children would love doing doodling with you. This is something which is very important. Next one, what you can always involve is have some books at your home. Okay, so books should be your child's best friend, I could say. Okay, so this is related to your literacy, correct? So you need to involve them in doing a lot of reading activities. Now, why should we read? Why should we read? When you're trying to read, your child will have that sitting tolerance. Your child will have tolerance towards listening to you. Every time he or she is listening to you, new words. The child is listening. So that means many words are getting added to your child's vocabulary, right? So all of that. Now, the books can be related to themes, what your child likes, because your child came with you, picked up the book, so they are already interested in going through the books. So that is also creating one kind of an interest with all of them. You all agree or not? Yes? So you're all agree on that, right? So when you do this each and every day, maybe just before going to the bed or whenever it's your good pastime to read a book, please read it. And this has to be your everyday activity, not once in a while. You got to do this. Now, all these things has to be done every day, not once in a while. Okay, every day you got to do this. And make sure when you read, you also add a little bit of drama to it, right? You have to show some excitement. I'm going to read out this particular book and look at the characters in this particular book. When you add that excitement, that is when it makes it much more interesting for your child. You can read short stories. Now, what to read? You can read stories, you can read poems, you can read jingles. You can also just go through the picture books and show them the pictures, which is very, very appealing to all of you. And also work on your voice modulation. When you're saying words like cat and when you say a word lion, there has to be a difference in your pitch. When your voice is modulating, that is when you will find it much more, your child will find it much more interesting, right? And they start liking the way that you are reading stories to your child. So that's how the child will start listening to you. So this is the great one that you can actually work with. The next important, or the easiest and the most cool one that I have always loved and enjoyed, is collecting the pictures of your family. So if you have your family photographs, or if you have an album, right? So keep showing it to your child. The more you show the album, the more you show, what happens? The child will start recognizing the people in the photos, right? So they recognize, and once they recognize, slowly you can talk a little bit more. Okay, so you can call them out by their names, and your child can point out, and you can ask, where is mama, where's dada, where's uncle, where's auntie, where's nani, all of that. So you ask questions and let the child tell out the names, and then you can also talk about the relationships that they have with your family. Now, when these three things are combined together, so your child is now enabled to know your family members, or everyone at your home, or all the important people in your life who are there in your family album. What a great way to have a conversation, right? So family photo books is a must. It's a must daily activity that you can actually have it. Then I could always work is like on a nature walk. Now, I know in this busy schedule, sometimes parents might not have time to actually take the children, to walk outdoors. But if you have a terrace, if you have a balcony, at least go there. Okay? For some time, walk together, take smaller steps. Right? So it's like a great form of relaxing exercises that you can do. You can have some stretches over there. Any kind of physical activity you need to do there. It could be bending, stretching, or any kind of an exercises. But it has to be outdoor. It should not be an indoor activity. Just do some kind of an outdoor nature activity, because kids love to do these nature exercises, especially like, or if you don't have anything, just stand outside in the balcony and watch. You can watch to the birds, you can watch birds, or you can listen to the birds chirping, or you can watch trees, right? Or you can just feel the breeze. Any sorts of those exercises, your child should actually be involved into it. Now you can always work on pretend plays, so clothes. You can always wear different kinds of costumes or clothes, right? So that can also be one thing wherein you can have you can also introduce colors with that. Okay, so that could be one of the greatest activity that you can actually work with children. And what else can we think about? Can somebody give me out some names? What else can we think about? Yes, play-doh, correct. So play-doh is also a good daily activity to get engaged with. See, you don't have to do all of them. You can take any one or two, or you can take at least one of that, and you can start working on it. So Play-Doh. So what can you do? See, as soon as you give them the Play-Doh, it's very exciting way for the children, right? Because they can create anything. They can create anything. So they can learn letters from that. They can learn shapes. They can learn numbers, or they can make any kind of structures. True? Yes. And if you have watercolors or any sort of paint, that is also good, right? So they can learn different colors. The moment then I said play doh, we can also get involved children with watercolors, right? So they identify colors. It might be a little messy, but it's worthwhile. Okay, so you can give them a piece of paper or a worksheet, let them draw and color, or they can just only paint. Okay, so that can be really good enough. And any time that you get good time, you can eat outside. Eating outside once in a while can also be a part that you can actually work with. And if you have some plants, ask your child to water the plants every day. One or two plants, you can give them the responsibility to observe how the plants are growing, right? So, or to pick up the dried leaves, or just to pour some water. And this is going to help the child, to become very close to nature. This is like you're encouraging them to be showing the act of kindness. So, watering the plants can also be one good way. And the most loving thing is like you can dance together. Okay, so play a good nursery rhyme or a sing along or any kind of a music and Dance with your child. Like, who doesn't like dancing? Especially children love to dance anytime and anywhere. Just play the music and allow your child to dance with you. Okay, so that could be one of the things. And what else can we think about? See, we can go on and on what could be the list of activities that you can actually work with. Another one could be clicking pictures. Any nice moment that you actually feel, capture the moment, show it to the child. It could be the funny pose, or if your child is making any good facial expression, just show. Or if a child is singing something nice, you can record it, show it to your child immediately. That is going to create good amount of enthusiasm, and it's going to be personal memory for you, of course, but you can show it immediately to the child. So you can play hide and seek. Hide and seek can also be one of the good exercise that you can work. Okay, so this can be an indoor or an outdoor, so depending upon how physically active you want to keep your child, you can actually work. So crafts, you can sit down and make some craft activity. If you have some paper, glue, gum, glitters, make any handicrafts according to it. You can play with stamps, or if you have any junk art, you can actually make a wonderful structure out of it. Or you can use building blocks to make any objects and structures. We can also draw with your children. Okay, so drawing can also be a great exercise. So here, indirectly, you will be working more on teaching your child how to hold a pencil and draw images, right? And more, if a child is around like 4.5 years, you can also use different kind of objects, like you can tracing and then doing a scribbling inside that particular trace. So it's basically like to encourage them to draw. So we can go on and off for all of it, but every time that you do it, you got to do it with so much of passion and fun way. You got to do it. It's not that, there's an activity which is given by me and you got to be following. No, you have to do it with so much of fun. Only then you would see the real benefit of doing these exercises. Now, what could be the benefits of doing all of that? Now, we have spoken about we need to do these activities, but are there any benefits? Why do we do that? Because it's given in the NCRT curriculum that we got to do all of this for our toddlers? No. The benefits is like, the more that we involve in everyday's activities with our child, it improves your child's physical health. Trust me on that. So it improves your child's physical health, physical well-being. And who doesn't want your child to be healthy? We all want our children to be healthy, right? So this is going to strengthen and help them to improve their physical health. And it also helps them to have a great mental strength. Or I could say it maintains a good metabolism of their body. What a lovely thing, isn't it? And what about the motor skills? Since you're doing both coloring, painting, drawing, all of that, it enables your fine motor. Since you're playing indoor, outdoor, your child's gross motor. So motor skills are getting improvised and you're helping them develop. And what about the hand-eye coordination? You're helping your child to do, and your child is also working. So there is a good amount of hand and eye coordination, which is very important, right? So these are the benefits. So we have hand-eye coordination between children. This is also amazing. And what about the other thing? There's so much of knowledge that both you and your child is sharing with one another. Knowledge sharing, that's happening. And indirectly, aren't we working on academics? Slowly, we are moving towards academic excellence, isn't it? What is the most lovable thing over here is like you and your child will develop or build the interpersonal relationship with one another. You would have a great relationship. It is not how expensive toys that you buy for your child. It's about how much of a quality time that you're going to be spending with your child matters a lot, because your child is only going to remember those beautiful moments that you actually had it in their childhood. Your child might forget about the toy that you actually got him or her, but your child will definitely remember the good time that they actually had it. Okay, so taking them to a beach and then you dropping them into water, you're splashing with water and you're playing, so the child will remember that forever, right? So this is something which is going to be the most important benefit that you're going to be having, right? So this was the topic of discussion that we actually had. I know you all have many more questions to actually ask. I got a lot of questions on these, like, what else that we can actually do? What are the activities which is actually done at school? So what more that we can actually do it for children when they are coming to school, So should we allow them to do a particular exercises, or should we involve everything into an outdoor or an indoor? What else that we can actually work on? Okay, so all those things we would be further discussing in our classes. So if you want to know a little bit more about these kinds of sessions and these kinds of teacher training modules, we do have a diploma course which is actually going on when we have our admissions open, and you can definitely enroll into those programs and benefit yourself and take the best out of these courses, and you can build amazing relationship with children, and you can be a better human being when you're trying to help a child succeed in the academic learning or in any other kinds of aspects of life. Okay, so that is there, so you can always build positive thinking abilities amongst children. So that is something that you can actually get benefited out of this particular courses. Okay, so thank you very much for joining me in today's session. So do pass this information in case if you have a friend who has got a toddler and is struggling to know what could be the daily activities. These could be very simple ones and a very little ones that I've dotted it down for all of you. Do share it, and do help me in knowing. I know if you have already done it, you can leave a comment in the comment section below. I would love to read what kind of exercises that you did it. But if there anything else that you have done it apart from all of that, do share that also. It will definitely be helpful for all of us to use it in our classrooms and further exercises. Okay, so loads of love. I will see you in the next session. Until then, it's bye from Divya. Have a great evening, everyone. Good day to you. Bye bye.